Charleston is known for its warm weather, but during the winter, sometimes we have to deal with freezing temperatures and even some snow. Winter ice isn't only dangerous for drivers, but it can also impact you on foot or at work. Attorneys Brendan Dawson and Jeffrey Ward with the Thumbs Up Guys are here this morning to tell us everything we need to know this season. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Great to have you. I mean, last year we saw all of that snow.
Yeah.
It took over Charleston. Nobody was able to do
for
anything.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. We don't really deal with it that often, but it definitely does happen. So what are some of the most common types of injuries that happen with those icy roads, icy sidewalks, and icy work conditions as well?
I'll start with on the roads. We see a lot of people, rear-ending other people because they're not giving enough space there and they don't realize that the roads are icy. And all of a sudden they hit those brakes and instead of stopping, they start sliding. And unfortunately, we'll have people call and say, well, the ice caused it. And we go, well, that's on you. We can't sue the ice. The ice is it's out there. Y'all do a great job here. Letting people know what the upcoming weather is. So you've got to keep more distance between you and the car in front of you and expect that might happen because if you rear-end somebody because you hit ice, you're still at fault. So that's probably the easiest one out there. I'll let Jeff talk about kind of some of the other things we see.
Well, we also see single car wrecks with ice involved, and if that happens to you, we still want you to give us a call because sometimes government entities could be responsible. If they know standing water is a common issue on these roads, this particular stretch of road, and they've had complaint after complaint after complaint about it, and they've done nothing to correct the issue, and then freezing temperatures come through and there's standing water, and now that is what you hit and cause a wreck. We want to investigate that. We want to see what the DOT or the county or the city knew about this stretch of road, and if they've gotten a series of complaints and put work orders in but didn't get around to doing them, there might be a case there. So single car wreck, if you get hurt, give us a call, let us investigate it. It doesn't cost you anything. The ones when you're on foot, same thing. There's on a sidewalk, if the government knew about the sidewalks retaining water and didn't do anything to fix it and you slip and fall there. We see a lot of bad broken bones, broken wrists, broken legs from people hitting the ground, hitting their heads. So a lot can go wrong on, in your car and on foot that can be avoided and prevented, especially if people knew about it ahead of time. So that's what we want to know. We want to know what someone knew about it ahead of time and what steps did they refuse to take or ignore, and if that's the case, then you probably have a case and we want to help you.
What about at work too? And if you get hurt on an icy sidewalk or at work, what
happens
work's
a little easier because it's a no-fault system. So if you get hurt at work, you're pretty much covered. There's obviously some caveats there, as long as you're doing something within the scope and course of your employment. But that same fact pattern that Jeff had, let's say that you're walking down the sidewalk and you slip and fall, most likely that's on you. If it's icy, you should have known it was going to be icy outside of what Jeff had mentioned, if there were any prior issues in that area. But for the most part, it's an act of God. When it snows and that sort of stuff, it's going to be icy and slippery, and you have to be aware of that. Now, if you were working at the same time, that is a covered claim. You were within the scope and course of your employment. You don't have to prove fault of your employer or anything like that or anybody else. And you'd be able to have a workers' compensation claim. So, great point there that it really does matter. Little factors can make a big difference in it, and that's why we always tell everybody, if you're not sure, or just give us a call. The call is completely free. We can walk you through it. If there's nothing there, it didn't cost you anything. We'll give you some advice and help you as much as we possibly can and point you in the right direction. If there is something there, we're happy to investigate it. And again, we only get paid if we're putting a check in your pocket. So.
Yeah. Well, you heard Brandon. You can call those Thumbs Up Guys if you have questions about this, if you ever are dealing with this, or you can also visit inpain.com and of course follow them on social media
You got it.
as well. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.